Good morning. I got another coffee talk for you guys. This morning, I want to talk about rebuilding your confidence because it's something most of us have been through, losing our confidence. Me more recently, so I'm working on it right now. So I thought, well, it's a pretty good topic because I'm actually going through it. So a lot of this stuff's really fresh on my mind, and it's something I'm working through every day. Definitely like what most of us end up happening, say we get bucked off or we come off a horse, and it's hard to work through that anxiety spot of getting on or getting on that horse or working with that horse. And so I'll tell you mine, and I want to kind of release the full story at some point, so I'm not going to tell you exactly, but I'll just say I got bucked off of a horse I was working with, and it's not a client horse. And it's hard for me, and I'll share more of this later, but it's happened in this particular way where I've lost my confidence more than once, and so I'm putting a little more effort this time into making some changes and, resolving the issue at the root of the problem. So one thing I say to a lot of people when they're struggling is, for one, if they can't get their horse out because they're so nervous they have to get on it and they don't want to get on it, I tell them, don't get on it. Like, don't plan on riding your horse. Get your horse out, work with it, do some things, especially if you do liberty, if you're working on some tricks, it makes it a lot easier. So for me, step one, if I've lost my confidence, is do less, make a deal with myself. When I go outside, I'm doing less. I'm not even gonna try to ride, because there's no point trying to ride when you're that worried or you just went through something. And the problem with, if you don't go spend time with your horse at all, that doesn't help you either. So we need to do something, but if we put this mountain in front of ourselves, we're not going to. If we say, I have to go out and I have to ride, it's probably not going to happen. So first of all, do less, but do something. So for me, I'm still working that horse every day. I've still been getting on and off of that horse. I've been working on the mounting block. I've been working on all these things to help the issue and to help me regain my confidence. Like, I felt within 3 days, that horse, probably within a day or two actually, that horse was more ready for me to get on. Probably would have went fine, but now it's been over a week and I've got one successful ride, but I just did a little walk jog. So I'm not big on the phrase cowboy up, and I know a lot of people are, and I probably should be. I'm just not big on it. I think when you try to push through your fears, I think a lot of times it goes poorly, partly because it's fake. You're nervous, you're tense, your horse can feel it. It's not like pushing through skydiving, Those things are fairly safe and you're just worried. This is trying to work with an animal who's probably also worried. That's probably why you came off in the first place. And it's hard to fake it. So that I do use fake it till you make it a lot, just not in the case of I'm scared to ride and I need to go ride again, and so I'm just going to push through. If it works for you, do it. I mean, that's great. It doesn't really work for me. So bite-sized pieces are way more important. And if I go out there on a day, and yesterday I rode the horse, and I go back out there today and I'm not feeling it, I don't do it, but I do something. I always go back to do something, like lead that horse around, pony that horse, do the mounting block, get up in the stirrup, get back down. And so what's amazing that happens is, over time, with all those little things, all of a sudden that fear and all that lost confidence is in the rearview mirror. So I had to figure out a few years ago, people would say, you need to build confidence in your horse. And I didn't know what that meant. I was like, what is it? And as funny as it sounds, it took me a couple years of thinking on it to say, what does it mean, build confidence? And I finally narrowed it down to, they need to be successful. When they try something, it needs to go well. It's the same for us. Like, the more times we do something and it goes well, it builds our confidence. Now, if we've had an issue in the past, it's going to take longer. We used to put confidence in the bucket with a tablespoon, and now we're using an eyedropper, and it's like, sometimes that happens. It's slower, but it's a process of building that confidence back up through successful interactions. So if you're a Cowboy Up type and you want to push through, hey, by all means, go for it. I'm not that way, so I don't promote that. I normally promote, what can you do? Back up, do that, call it a day, come back, let's do it tomorrow. If you can do a little more, awesome. It's a long, slow process, but it's worth it to try to prevent new incidents, new injuries, new trauma, and get you back to that place you were. Life needs to be played like a long game. Yes, it could be over tomorrow for any of us, but we have to play it like it's a long game, like we're going to be here for a long time. So those little baby steps, you'd be amazed how far you can get in a month, 2 months, 6 months, a year. And I hate to say this, a lot of people don't like to hear this, but sometimes the answer is a different horse. For many of us, you can buy a horse that's way out of your league in how difficult, or I'll say this, how much support that horse needs. You might not be able to give it. And so sometimes we do need to consider, hey, I might need a different horse for me and what I'm after and the amount of hours I'm going to put in. And so just to recap, when you're rebuilding your confidence, expect it to take a while. Expect it to go slow. Do something, but only do what you can manage and let yourself build confidence. If you're going to take a little bigger step, you say, I'm going to swing on and swing right back off. Give yourself some time after. Breathe, walk around, lead your horse. Maybe call it a day. Like if it got your anxiety pretty high, and I'm not a psychologist, so, if this is bad advice, maybe seek out someone else. But I'm just telling you what's worked for me. Sometimes I do push those limits. I do get my heart racing, but then I give myself that time to recover. So I hope that helps some of you guys. Building your confidence in your horses is very similar. Just have good interactions. Just need to be successful. And the more times you're successful, the higher your confidence will get. So hope that helps, and we'll see you guys next time.